If you've been looking to get a lot more variety in your ability to control the golf ball, meaning controlling the trajectory standard, high, and low, then in today's video, I'm not only going to show you one or two ways to do it, I'm going to show you multiple ways to do it. So there's really multiple ways that we move the golf ball. Okay, we move it up and down and we move it left to right. Well, in today's video, I want to give you a couple different ways and options to learn how to control your trajectory, so when you're playing in the wind or you're trying to get to certain pins, if one's tucked behind a bunker, you can take the ball up. If one's back in the green and you need to hit it to the middle and run it up to that pin, you have the ability to do that, and you're not just stuck with your stock trajectory shot all the time. So the one that I found out doing this for 3 decades now is very simply a modification to your trail foot. Now, here's what I mean by that. If I were to set up here, this orange stick obviously represents where the ball position would be, and that can be up the left side of your face, your logo, somewhere inside your lead armpit, wherever you want to have it. But that would be, let's call it your stock ball position. Okay, I've got a mid iron here, feet are about shoulder width apart. I'm ready to go. That would be what I would have for most of the shots that I would play. If I wanted to hit the ball lower and not do a whole heck of a lot, I do a couple things. One is I would bring my trail foot about 1 full foot width closer to my lead foot. That's going to narrow the stance. The butt end of the club is still going to point to my in between my zipper and my left hip, so that's still there. Okay, so you still have some shaft lean. You're going to grip down a little bit to shorten the lever and come in ever so slightly, and then you're going to open up your lead foot just a little bit because you're going to be a little steeper on the ball. So with a narrower stance, you're going to have a shorter arc. The shorter arc will make you hit more down on the ball. The hand still being in front leading, de-lofted, and because you have a shorter lever with the same amount of loft, the ball is going to come down and the spin rate's going to come down. And because you're more, your angle of attack is more descending, you're going to want to be open more for it to effectively go straight. So let me go over just a couple of those quick keys again. You go from a stock setup, you're going to bring your trail foot in about 1 full foot width to narrow the stance and shorten the arc into the ball, which means you're going to be more steep. Because you're more steep, you're going to slightly open your stance. You're going to grip down ever so slightly, and then all you're going to do is you're going to make the same swing, and the ball trajectory will come out a heck of a lot lower. That's number one. Number two is if you want to hit the ball higher. So higher is obviously opposite of lower. So what we're going to do is we're going to take our normal setup. We're going to drop our trail foot away from our lead foot 1 full foot width, which obviously widens our stance. If we're wider, we're set behind the ball a little more, which means the shaft is not going to have as much lean towards the target. It's going to be a little closer to vertical. Our arc is going to be bigger because the base of our stance is wider. Okay, so, and then as we come into the ball, that shaft is not going to have as much lean forward, but our timing and our sequencing are still very similar because the butt end of the club is still pointed between our zipper and our hip. Okay, so there's impact for a high shot. This would be impact for my standard shot, and this would be impact for my low shot. You notice that this position in relationship to me has not changed, meaning your timing and your sequencing from standard to low to high is not a heck of a lot different, yet you still get multiple trajectories. Okay, so that's the way that we found through the course of a round or the course of a season. If you're not moving the ball around, you're not changing your release patterns a whole heck of a lot, it's much easier to do on a consistent basis. Another way to do this would be to keep everything the same, your stance, your ball position, and what you're going to do is you are going to modify how your upper body or your spine comes through the ball. The more tilt you have, obviously, the higher the ball is going to go. The less tilt you have, obviously, the lower the ball is going to go. So you would go back, you would have your stock shot where you have a little bit of spine angle leaning back as you come into impact, and then you would go into your standard finish. If you wanted to hit the ball lower from here, you would come through the ball and your chest would cover the ball more, meaning your shoulders would be more level. And when that happens, you're going to finish much lower. I'd be very surprised if your hands got above chest height. Okay? You want to hit the ball low, you're going to finish low. And conversely, if you wanted the ball to go up, as you came into the ball, you would still unwind, but you would have more spine lean, somewhat back from the target, that would allow the swing to come up sooner. All three are going to have the same or very similar bottom out points, but how you come through the ball with your chest, if you want low, you're coming through level shouldered with a low finish. If you want standard, you're coming through with a little shoulder tilt and a little spine angle and a finish above your shoulder or at shoulder height. And if you want higher, you're coming through with a more shoulder tilt and you're going to finish much higher and closer to your lead ear. So those are those are two ways to modify your trajectory: standard, low, and high. Give those a shot. We'd love to hear your feedback down in the comments below. If you like this video, feel free to subscribe right over here. And as always, thank you for tuning in to another one of our videos.